In terms of seeing other people deeply, you offer in How to Know a Person a lot of just practical tips. And there's one that really stuck with me, so I want to make sure to mention it. It was the most powerful tip for me in my life, which was treat attention as an on-off switch, not a dimmer switch. Treat it as an all or nothing affair. Because I think most of the time when not here during this conversation with you. I've been interviewing people since 2009, and I've interviewed my wife a couple of times about her work. And she said, wow, you never pay attention to me in the same way as when you interview me, Tami. And I thought, God, I should do this more often because it's a full on-off switch. And often in the course of our life, I'm listening to her, but I'm also, unloading the dishwasher or doing all these other things. And she'll say, could you please just stop and
Right.
give me your full attention? Very simple act. And I'm like, I can hear you while I'm undoing this thing. Anyway, so I thought that was a terrific pointer that would really, in many ways, change a lot of things. Just that one thing, full on-off switch.
Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought about this, but sometimes it's nice to have a distraction. It's nice to be driving. Somehow the conversation can flow. But when you really get into something serious, and I think your default should be when you meet everybody is 100%, not or 0%, not 60-40. And we've all met, and there are some politicians who that's their magic. I would say that was Bill Clinton's magic. And everyone says he treated me like I was the only one in the room. That was a standard cliche about Bill Clinton, and I think it was sincere. It is sincere. But yeah, those are just practical skills. I mean, some of the others, when you're in a deep conversation, one of them that I was given was be a loud listener. That I have a friend who, when you talk to him, it's like talking to a Pentecostal church. He's like, yes, yes, preach, preach. I agree with that. I'm in. I just love talking to that guy because he's so enthusiastic in the way he listens. Another tip I got was don't be a topper. If you say to me, I had a terrible flight, I was on the tarmac for 2 hours, I'm inclined to say to you, yeah, I had a terrible flight. I was on the tarmac for 6 hours. And it sounds like I'm trying to relate to you, but what I'm really trying to do is let's pay less attention to your inferior set of experiences and more to my superior set. And so don't be a topper. I think it's been helpful to me to learn that there are just some practical tips that can really change the quality of your conversations, like the dimmer switch, and these things, these acts that we do with each other, they're like carpentry, they're like playing tennis, they're skills, and they can be taught. And like I mentioned earlier, how do you sit with someone who's depressed? That's a skill that can be taught, and we can learn that. How do you break up with someone without crushing their heart? Again, a skill that can be taught. How do you ask for and offer forgiveness? And one of the things that weirdly doesn't happen in our culture is the teaching of these social skills. I don't know if they were ever taught, but I get the impression more so before cell phones than now.
How do you break up with a friend without hurting their heart or breaking their heart? How do you say, this just isn't really working out, so I don't, that's obviously not how you say it. I don't know how to do this. How do you do this, David?
Yeah. Now I feel weird giving advice because I was always the one getting broken up with. I was never the dumper. I was the dumpy. But I would say one of the things that doesn't work is the sandwich. We're all instructed to, when we're giving feedback on anything, to give a positive thing and then a negative thing and then a positive thing. That's called the sandwich. And research has shown that does not work because all people hear is the negative thing. The positive thing they do not hear. I would say the one thing, there's a really good book I recommend called 10 to 25 that came out maybe a year ago. And it's about how to deal with people between ages of 10 and 20. And the author says, you think when you're talking to one of these young people that you're giving all sorts of wise advice or not, or telling them what to do or what not to do. But all they are hearing is, do you respect me? Do you respect me? Do you respect me? That is all they're hearing. And so the problem with the sandwich is it's a show of respect and then a show of disrespect and then a show of respect. All they hear is, oh, disrespect. There's disrespect in the air here. And there's another book called Crucial Conversations by a guy named Joseph Granny and a bunch of other people. And they say every conversation takes place on two levels: what we're nominally talking about, and then underneath it, the flow of emotions as we're talking. And that under conversation is the more important. And so and then they have a sentence which has really lingered in my mind, which is, in any conversation, respect is like air. It's when it's present, nobody notices. When it's absent, it's all anybody can think about. And so when you break up with someone, sometimes the breakup happens, and the number one cause of divorce, according to the experts, is contempt. There's no respect left. And once you feel contempt for someone, it's really hard to stay married to them. And so in that case, it's hard to have a pleasant breakup conversation without being dishonest. But in most breakup conversations, the respect that drew you to the person is still there. The love may be gone, but the respect is still there. And so my instinct is that by showing lavish respect for who that person is, even though the love may be gone, is the right way to honestly explain why this isn't working out.
It's very helpful. Thank you, David.
Discover on-demand videos and docuseries, explore a full schedule of daily life classes, and become part of an incredible community. At Sounds True One, we invite you inward to find your way your way.